Welcome to Garden Crossings. I'm Heidi. Today we are getting a shipment of annuals from Proven Winners. We get our annuals from 4-Star Greenhouse, which is in Carlton, Michigan. And today we're just getting kind of a small shipment in. This is going to be some of the plants that we're going to use for our hanging baskets. So the girls are eagerly awaiting there in the garden center for this unload so they can get their hands dirty and start digging in the dirt. It's so fun to see when these annuals come in. There's just so many different colors and textures, and occasionally we'll get a few little blooms. Oh, here's some pretty coleus. Isn't that gorgeous? Some polka dot plant down there. Oh, this is so fun just to see all the different varieties that we get in that we're going to be using when we're creating and building out our hanging baskets. You can see sitting over here, we have just a few of them here lined out on our garden center benches. And this just makes it easier for the girls to plant. Also, as I mentioned in another video, we will let them grow in here for about 4 to 6 weeks, and we give them all a little pinch, and then we throw them up in the ceilings in the greenhouses in the back. It's much easier to give them their first little pinch when they're at waist level than when they are about 12 to 14 foot in the air. Here's another rack that just came in, some beautiful geraniums. All those flowers you're seeing, they're gonna all get snipped off. We don't want that, because then these little plants are going to put all their energy into the flower opposed to into bulking them up and getting that foliage thicker and fuller. So anytime we see flowers on anything that comes in, they're going to get immediately trimmed off. Another thing is if we get plugs that are kind of tall, like we're seeing here, these are Calibrachoa, and this is a pretty tall plug. We're going to nip that baby in half, and that's just going to eliminate it from going to flower. And also it's going to help bulk it up and branch it up as well. So just some of the tricks of the trade to getting these plants looking beautiful for when they arrive to your location. There's another load coming off right now. Some of these are really tall. A lot of those are just beautiful, perfect. So I think this might be it for today's shipment for baskets anyhow. We'll be getting more in next week, which will be more of our plants that will be in our 4.5 inch or what we call our grande containers. But we'd like to get the baskets started ahead of those small little grandes, just because it takes a little longer for them to fill out, because it is a much larger container that we are planting into. We've got Alyssa down there. She is part of our growing team, and as these plants come in, the first thing she does is she gets right in there and is inspecting them for any bugs or diseases, because if they have any issues, we do not want to bring them back into our greenhouses. We'll automatically just call our rep and say these plants got issues, and then we'll dump them. So she goes through with a fine-tooth comb and just inspects every flat tray that comes in to make sure the plants are in perfect shape and in perfect health. We also have Jen over here with in the gray and Dawn in the blue. Jen's our inventory manager, so she is going to go through and count all of these plugs, trays, not plugs specifically, but plug trays, to make sure that we have all of the varieties that were on this week's order. And then Dawn is going to get them all organized with her team, and they're going to be the ones that will go ahead and get the baskets all planted up. So I'm not sure if this will be a day project or a 2-day project for them. I'm hoping, I'm guessing probably a day or 2 for her and her 3 team members. So we will be also taking some video in a little bit of them planting, so you can see the process. There's really not much of a process in the garden center here, just because everything's kind of laid out. We don't use conveyors or planting machines or anything in the greenhouse. It's just easier, like I said, to just do it here at waist level and get these guys planted up. Paperwork's all laid out for a checklist. Dawn's got her paperwork all laid out for what plants go into what baskets. So they're just getting things organized and prepped and ready. So we're going to ask Alyssa what exactly she's doing here with her piece of paper, and she's kind of fluffing on the foliage. So let's see what she's doing.
All right, so we're just checking all the new plants that we just got in to make sure there's no bugs or diseases that can spread to everything else we have back. And so one of the ways I do that is just by like taking a blank piece of paper, and then you can kind of shake the foliage over them. And that helps you see if we're looking for, it helps us find like aphids or thrips mostly, because you can easily see it on the white paper. And then, yeah, just checking the backs of the leaves and the bases for any other mites or anything that might be in there. If we find stuff that if we find things that are infected with pests or bugs, then we'll usually send a picture of it to wherever we got it from so they know and they can either credit us or tell us what they want us to do. Either take it back to the greenhouse and treat it, or we're getting, for all of our annuals this year, we're getting beneficial insects in. So these go after the predatory pests without having to spray or treat them at all. And then we also check for diseases, just checking the roots and the stems to make sure nothing's rotting or there's nothing that we need to take care of.
From checking off plants to make sure that the right items were received, to inspecting all the plants for bugs and diseases before they get planted or brought into our greenhouses, and just getting everything all organized and ready for planting. We hope this is getting you a little excited for spring and things that will be coming here soon. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to leave them below. Thanks for watching. I'm Heidi from Garden Crossings.